you'll note we're recording this session. We're going to download quite a bit of content, and so our plan will be to, obviously we're recording this session. We also have a few slides and some materials and things, and we're going to send those out afterwards to not only you all that attend, but sort of anybody else in the Encounter Coach community that would like to grow with us. So don't worry about taking notes or these kind of things. Just relax, listen. We want to invite you to ask questions as we go, and to make it as much, it's a nice size group, so we can make it as much as possible a dialogue, and your questions are going to help those who haven't attended or won't be able to attend, because no doubt the questions you ask will be ones that'll be on top of mind for lots of other folks as well. So with that, I'll kind of share my screen here, and we'll kind of talk a little bit about our agenda today. So one is just to reaffirm our mission and values. We could talk a little bit about who we are, where we've come from. A bit's changed, but in terms of the core content, our core values and our core mission, it hasn't changed for at least, I don't know, Tony can correct me, but it's been about 10 years. So that hasn't changed, but we're constantly, looking for ways to deliver our content better, help people become better coaches and things. So we want to just reaffirm that with you all in terms of who we are and what we bring in terms of that. And then we've got a number of ideas, number of initiatives that we're looking to pursue for 2024. And so we want to just talk you through, some of those things. And along the way, we'd love to hear your questions, your thoughts. Some of these initiatives are really well thought out and developed. Some are being developed. And so your questions and input will help us considerably as we kind of tweak and adjust some of the things that we're looking to do. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Etienne and Tony just to talk a little bit more about our mission and such.
Okay, I guess this is me. So our mission from the start was to train 100,000 leaders worldwide in 25 years or something like that. And the idea was everybody who gains these skills is going to touch a bunch of other people, whether it's formally in coaching relationships, informally, just by relating, in leadership roles, because this stuff, if you're leading something, you're going to use this all the time. So if we do that, we can touch 10 million people. So yeah, when we started this, it's sort of a take over the world strategy for coaching. But yeah, and Todd and the team have broken that down into a 3-year goal to grow from 100 to 1,000 certified encounter coaches. So that's a step along the way to the larger goal.
Good.
Thank you, Tony. Yeah, we want to just briefly look at our core training values. Now, some of you may have or may not have seen this, but the hope is that you've all experienced this as you've been with us in training. So I'll just quickly go through them. You may notice that they spell the acronym changed. So our first value is the coaching approach. So we use coaching as our core methodology for working with personal transformation. So part of that is believing in people. Part of that is not telling, but asking. Part of that is believing that Jesus and God is moving when we listen, when we ask questions. The second value is heaven. Heaven is our goal, our measuring rod, our joy, and our destiny. And as hopefully you've all experienced, it's so helpful to see things from heaven's perspective, which is also, as you know, a big part of what people experience during the taste of heaven. The third value, authenticity. Authentic relationship is both a prerequisite and a byproduct of living from the heart, which is that's our goal, to train and equip people to live, lead, and coach from the heart. New Testament leadership model. We lead from the heart as modeled in the New Testament.
Hey, Etienne, can I
Yes.
make a comment on that one?
Yes, please.
Yeah, the idea of the New Testament leadership model is in the New Testament, people lead in teams. So there's no one great, leader above everybody else. It's a team effort. And the New Testament, women are leading things. There's a woman apostle mentioned in the New Testament. So part of that value is expressed in who we have here today.
Thank you, Tony. Great. So the next one is God initiates change. So heart change is a result from our response to God's activity. Believing is always at work, and it doesn't originate from our own willpower, or it's not pulled through just by our own discipline. The next one, very important one, as all the others are important, is encounter. The heart is changed through experience. And our key experience is encounters with Jesus. In other words, our heart's not just to people full of knowledge or just give them a handbook, but hopefully see them transformed and impacted as they experience Jesus. And the last one is desire. Desire fulfilled relationship with God is the key to living the Christian life. In other words, you're all familiar with the desire. So we're not doing work or doing ministry with a hope to get our desires fulfilled, but the ministry and the work that we do come out of a heart that's filled by Jesus. So those are our training values, and I'm going to speak just a little bit about our new initiative in training. Some people have asked about this to be refreshed or to be rekindled in the skills and the tools that they've learned as they've gone through training with us. And so we put together an 8-week course that we call Encounter Coaching Revive. A while ago, Peter showed us the new Encounter Coaching cheat sheet that we sell at our bookstore, and that has a lot of the drill down tools are mentioned in that flip book. So the Encounter Coaching Revive will be an 8-week long course where you will gather together with a group of other people. In other words, in community, where you will gather to ask questions from Jesus, to share what you're hearing from him. And then we'll go through, we'll have a time of a little bit, maybe 10 minutes or so of input on the key different skills and tools that we go through in our workshop. So this is specifically for people that have gone through the workshops. Maybe they need refreshment, maybe they need sharpening. And so part of that time will also be the trainers demonstrating the skill that we're talking about. For example, drilling down to desire, or how to coach twisted desire, drilling down to belief, drilling down to emotional memory, coaching using the 3 beliefs, coaching using the 7 frames, or helping somebody through the whole experience of responding to God and how to respond from the heart, how to lean in. So part of the time will be a demonstration, followed by debriefing, just for people to be able to get the most from the demonstration, and then followed by 2 people in a set of peers practicing together. With a limited, this won't be like a mentor coaching class, but there'll be limited input then also from the trainers. So at least one of the times that the people that go through it, that they coach, they will get feedback from one of the trainers. And that's the hope, to be able to draw people in, to refresh them, rekindle, help them in the process.
Yeah, maybe it's good time to just pause. Questions from anybody? I'm going to stop share for just a moment just to see questions so far on what we've shared. One of the things, Etienne, as you're talking about our values and learning values, one of the things, particularly we have Tony on, if you wouldn't mind, Tony, to put you on the spot, speak a little bit about the adult learning values that's a core part of what we do.
Okay. So I think it was in the 1950s, a guy named Malcolm Knowles did a bunch of research on how adults learn. And the key finding was that adults learn differently than children, and most instruction was designed for children. So pedagogy is learning for children, and andragogy is learning for adults. And the assumption of pedagogy is that children are a blank slate that needs to be filled. They don't bring knowledge to the table. They don't bring experience to the table. So you tell them what they need to know. But Knowles found that adults learn best from each other. So they learn things that they're motivated to learn, not what you're motivated to teach them, which is a great underpinning value of coaching, because we let people set the agenda because they're going to learn what they want to learn, not what an outsider wants to teach them. Adults learn best through discussion and interaction with the material as opposed to lecture. So there's a whole, you can look it up online. There's 5 or 6 rules of the adult learner by Malcolm Knowles. But another resource in this is the learning pyramid, which says that in terms of retention, over a period of time, people retain 5% of what they hear in a lecture, 10% of what they read, 20% of a multimedia presentation, 50% of what they discuss, 70% of what they practice, and 90% of what they have to turn around and teach to other people. So like in all our training, there's tons of practice because you learn better that way than by somebody talking at you. So you can go to a coach training program that's a bunch of videos that you watch and then you're a coach, quote unquote, but that's a very ineffective way to train people. So it's been a high value for me to integrate learning games, discussion, practice. There's even some exercises where you turn around and teach the heart model to each other. So that's all a reflection of those principles of adult learning.
That's good. Thanks, Tony. Yeah. And one of the things kind of leaning into that in the modules, and I'll pick up KO's question in a minute, is we've incorporated the mentor coaching, because one of the things we've learned through the training is the value of giving feedback to people on their coaching. And we found through the mentor coaching, that's been a really powerful way for people to really grow in their skills and confidence. Yeah, KO.
My question is from almost everybody in my cohort. They are asking, how does this fit into a full coaching session? Because we practice a lot of parts. So particularly those who haven't taken any coaching training previous to the encounter coaching, they don't understand how this fits into a coaching session.
Yeah.
It's like, because so many of our practices feel like one-offs, you know, because we come in that way. We're practicing, so and then when we watch Tony in the video clips in the encounter book, it's, you know, we get statements like, oh, and I've been coaching this guy for 2 years to getting to this point to do this, or I've been coaching for this guy for a year, or this woman for 18 months. So they're not seeing that connection.
Yeah.
And is it because I'm only halfway through module 2 that I just haven't experienced that yet, or we haven't experienced that yet?
Yeah. You will get more opportunities to do more of the full coaching session, particularly with we've incorporated a lot of peer coaching in there, where you practice a full 30 to 40 minute session by breaking up into peers during the course of module 2. And then you'll also have a final mentor coaching session where you do a full session with feedback from the mentor coach. And then, of course, just practicing with friends, family, others that that you can invite into a coaching conversation. I don't know, Etienne, Jason, Tony, other thoughts on Keo's question?
I was just thinking of the graphic that we have, where it has rational coaching on the one side and the encounter coaching on the other. And so the coaching funnel might be a helpful graphic to revisit, or, so you can see how, so here's how a rational coaching session looks. And here's where the encounter coaching comes into play, in the middle of that funnel, so to speak. So that's all I had.
Yeah.
But as you learn all the parts, so you learn the 3 pathways, drilling down to desire, belief, or emotional memory. And then you can incorporate those and kind of flow with that, like which is going to fit best for this situation and that kind of thing. So it does all come together, but it does take some practice, some experience too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and hopefully we're providing that in the mentor coaching. That would be a big piece of that.
So I would
And maybe
say,
Oop.
oh, go ahead.
so go for it, Kyle.
Okay, so because I took 3 years of training in ICF coaching and other coaching trainings, to me, it's a piece of the puzzle. Encounter coaching is. But for some of the people in the cohort, even though there's been a little bit of foundational coaching, that they don't get it. Just passing on information.
Yeah, and that's something where, we continue to sort of, as we go through the mentor coaching, for example, since the first time we ran module 1, we kind of recognized people weren't grasping all the foundational coaching skills. And so we added content in that part of the module 1, and those who take it in the future, they get a little bit more experience in how to build a full, complete coaching conversation, which, as I think about it, Kale, may not have been in the version you took. But we kind of noticed the same. Yeah, it's good feedback. Thank you. I don't know, other thoughts on Keo's question? Otherwise, we'll keep moving. Any other questions so far?
I'm also an ICF certified coach, and I agree with her. This is definitely a part of the healing side. Some clients are only going to want to stay, especially non-Christian clients, only going to want to stay on the traditional coaching side. So this is if you're starting a coaching business, this is the heart, and this is the meat for somebody that will go into the spiritual realm. And certainly, as the Spirit allows us, we want to move them toward this to find the true answers. But it is a combination of kind of both sides.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking to Tony. Jason, other comments on that? Good. Okay.
Yeah, part of the challenge with that is just from a training design perspective, in 25 minutes, we can have pairs practice a particular skill. If we want to practice an entire coaching appointment, it takes an hour and a half. And the other problem is one coaching appointment is always different from another. So part of the thing of requiring a bunch of hours for certification is that you have to go out and actually do this kind of stuff and experience it. But yeah, just from a purely how many hours do we have to apply to this, it's hard to do full appointments in a training context.
Yeah.
Like if you have an hour session, you can have one person do an appointment and get feedback, but yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Kale.
Wondering if you had several videos of a full coaching session utilizing both sides, the rational and the encounter part, and then with feedback at the end, like doing your invitation samples where you say this, we did this, we did this, we did this. Then people could watch that on their own and then practice that, with their own people.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Or with certified, even better with other certified coaches or trained coaches, so that you can get helpful feedback. Because if they aren't trained, then they really, being able to give helpful feedback is a training in itself, I'm finding.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good suggestion. Thank you. We'll tell you what, we'll keep going. We've got a bit more content to get through here and to share with you. So I'm going to go back and share the screen again. And so we'll talk a little bit about for many people who have taken, because we've been offering this training for first workshops, Tony, 10, 11 years ago.
2012 was the first one. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 10, 11 years ago. So we have and I think I counted up, there's been 1,000 people that have taken at least one of the core modules. And so therefore people will come back to us and say, I took it back in 2017, but you know what, my skills are stale, and perhaps they want to do something more than just the Revive class that Etienne shared. And so what we're going to do is we're going to open up a limited number of seats in both modules 1 and 2, where people can retake the content at a substantial discount. And that gives you the opportunity to not only get a refresh on the content itself, but particularly for those who took the standalone workshops, didn't get the benefit of the mentor coaching. So you'll get the 13.5 hours of mentor coaching. And as we're doing the training online, we limit our class sizes to 12, because we find at 12, that's about the max of having really good interpersonal interactions between trainers and one another. So our plan, we're going to give it a try for our courses in January, open up 4 seats for that. So if that's something you're interested in, send Angie, our admin, or myself a note, reply, and we can give you a discount code for those who are interested in retaking that. Next opportunity, Jason.
Yeah, so this is something we're very excited about. We've developed a new module, Module 3, and this is all about equipping you to coach leaders. So what does it look like to coach a leader in a valley season, which is normally when people come to us for coaching, right? And what's the difference between coaching a leader who's in their fulfillment stage and a leader who's in their releasing stage? But how do you coach, a leader in those 2 different seasons, kind of thing? So we're incorporating a lot of calling discovery, calling timeline content, a leader's life purpose, if you're familiar with that. And then, we have content from Relating from the Heart as well. That's all put together to help you, and even different personalities, different DISC profiles. How do you coach a high D? How do you navigate, or how do you coach someone who's in a toxic leadership environment? And how do you help them so that they don't become someone who's leading a toxic environment, right? So all those different kinds of things, relational conflict. We're gonna coach and train you how to coach other leaders, specifically geared towards coaching other leaders. So yeah, we're really excited about that. And there's 13.5 hours of mentor coaching with that as well. So really high value proposition. I think you get a lot of return on investment with that module 3. So if you're interested in coaching leaders, be on the lookout for that. And we're starting a pilot for that in January. And because it's a pilot, we're going to want a lot of feedback from whoever takes that. So we're offering it at a 50% discount. So if you're interested, let us know.
Okay. Any questions on the Module 3 lead? Yeah, KO.
You're on mute, KO.
Is it possible to take the second half of module 2 and module 3 at the same time?
It's certainly possible. I don't think there won't be a time conflict. Yeah. So I think if you have the ability, each of the modules is designed to require about 5 hours of work per week, which is the 2 hours for the live training, hour and a half for the prep, and roughly an hour and a half with your cohort. So if you have the capacity, I think it's certainly possible.
If you wouldn't be triggered by seeing too much of us.
Don't see that happening.
Okay. Liv Kirsty, are you raising? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, will this be on a time of the day that it will fit with us in Europe as well?
Yeah, it's going to be, Etienne, it's going to be, I think it's 9 Eastern.
9 to 11 Eastern time, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and we do have a lot of folks all over the world taking our training, so it's a perpetual challenge to get our training in time slots that work for different time zones, people that work full time. As we grow, our hope is to be able to, do more and more offerings, have class sizes that are smaller. We think the ideal size is like 10 to 12, and then do more of them, whether it's module 1, module 2, module 3, module B. So that's our vision, so that we can accommodate busy people from all over the world. Cool. So let's go to the next slide. So the next class we're introducing is something we call Module B Build. And something that Matthew Swinson, who's on the call, I see, he's the guy sitting at the beach. He and I we piloted a version of this earlier in the year. We got really good feedback on it, and and the feedback we did get is like, great content, but we need more time to both absorb the content, but also to put it into practice. So we've stretched out the content over a 24-week period. And the big idea is to both deliver content, have opportunities to do Q&A as you're sort of building out what a coaching practice might look like. And for each of us, our coaching practices could look very different. In fact, and one of the reasons I kind of partnered with Matthew is his approach to building a coaching business was very different than mine. And so we intentionally partnered because we have a diverse approach to doing it, because there isn't any one right way. And my approach to building a coaching business is more around connecting with organizations, getting recognized as an expert within, in my case, it was largely a missionary network where most of my clients reside. Plus, I do some traditional coach business, coach marketing. Matthew, maybe you can comment a little bit on your approach to building a coaching business and what you bring.
So mine is very social media focused. So, Facebook groups, DM, stuff like that. So the approach is very different. So when people, I'm working on building it in person now, but I've seen a lot of success on the online version, and I can access everybody in the world that way. So, but yeah, my approach has been different, figuring out marketing to people who I don't know. And, if there's 2 billion people out there, can I find enough people to be able to have a business that's thriving when this is the only thing I do now? It's just encounter coaching. And so my model's been very different.
Yeah. And so within the course, like I said, we deliver content. We'll have Q&A sessions like we do with any of our modules. It's cohort based, leaning into our learning principles that Tony described, that we learn best from one another, drawing together our collective experience. And as we're building, we're learning. And as we're learning, we're building. And so we do that simultaneously. And so the vision would be, over the course of that 24 weeks, you're building out your business in some form or fashion. And then as part of that, we also want to include some very practical things. So for example, for a lot of us, as we grow our coaching business, we want the opportunity to get out in front of people and deliver content. And so we have a number of simpler, lower cost encounter coach training courses that we offer on the bookstore, but we're going to also train people that are in this course to be able to utilize that training material so that you can offer an introduction to encounter coaching course, a Questions for Jesus course, a Calling Discovery. Several in our community have kind of done that on our own with our content, but we're going to help you build that out. And then also just give you some of the practical tools and sharing tools around building a business, whether it's how to onboard clients, how to manage the back office things, answer questions around, do I need a legal entity, and what kind of software tools are helpful in building clients. So quite a few facets. We're going to do group coaching within that. So then every person who participates is going to get the benefit of one, we call it hot seat coaching, where the group will coach you through an element of your business. And then you'll also have the benefit of one-to-one coaching with Matthew and I through that course. And so we have our first one starting in January. We'll have another one, I think it's starting in March or April. And we'll have different times, different days as we offer that course. So that'll be, it's not on the website yet. You'll see that soon. So that's a new opportunity we've got coming. And next one of the ways we want to equip people to grow, both for you as a coach, but also to help MetaFormation grow and to grow our influence, which in turn helps each of you grow in your influence, is to create some, I guess we'll call it staff coach opportunities. And there's a few of them that we have in mind. One is an enrollment coach. Our approach to attracting and developing people is all about relationship. And we find the best way to connect with people and invite them into our workshops is to actually invite them into a conversation, into a relationship. And rather than doing that through an aggressive sales pitch, for most of us as coaches, most of us aren't comfortable doing sales, but we love coaching and we love relational influence. And that's what we want to do through enrollment coaches, is impart the skills to individuals so they can use their coaching skills to coach people into our training if it's a good fit. And if it's not a good fit for them, we don't want them in our training because, we're in cohorts, we're in community. It's not helpful for anyone for them to come into a course and then have it not work for them. And so our enrollment coach is a key part of kind of qualifying people and making sure that we're a good fit. We also want to give people the opportunity to experience encounter coaching. And so I'll call it a product or an offering where we take some of our certified encounter coaches who we've seen their coaching, we believe in their coaching, and they'll have an opportunity to be listed on our website. And so that people, if they want to buy a bundle of 3 coaching sessions, they can buy that from one of our experienced encounter coaches. And it helps people that want to learn more about encounter coaching and MetaFormation. And of course, it helps those on the website in terms of getting clients. And then a handful of folks have come and said, boy, that Heaven's Perspective was life-changing. I want to learn how to do that. I want to learn how to write stories. And we'll be running another Heaven's Perspective story writing course in the new year. And again, we'll be looking for a few more people to help us, so we have a good, I'll call it a bullpen of good story writers. And I'll say, maybe I'll just, the last comment on the story writing. I found that really intimidating to get started, but with the training and the practice of doing the stories, they are personally transformational for me as a writer. I'm sure Jason, Etienne, Tony can share the same thing. It's a really cool experience to learn how to do it. And it's a really good growth opportunity. So again, I'm going to pause here for questions. Yeah, Patty.
I would just like to comment. I don't know how much everyone else has experienced all the different things you guys do, but I don't think I've ever taken any class or any course from MetaFormation that hasn't been transformational for me. It's just amazing. We use so much of what you guys do in a Spanish context, and it just doesn't exist here anywhere else. But I do have a question, because I'm coming back just trying to, as I take other stuff, I just always go, oh, Tony's stuff is so much better, or MetaFormation stuff is so much better. So I need to get some more core competency CEUs to renew my ICF credentials. Do you have any idea whether they will? I mean, they accepted your stuff before when I did it, but I just wonder if the new stuff, if it has any chance. Usually Tony's name carries some weight, and they just go, okay, yeah, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Do you have a good answer on that one, Tony? Not a good answer. Yeah. It to get sort of recognized by ICF, the thing that they're looking for is, are you explicitly teaching the ICF core competencies? And while we do indirectly teach many of those core competencies, we don't explicitly teach them. And one of our core competencies is how to invite Jesus into the conversation. Last I checked, it's not one of the ICF core competencies. And so it's
although I've worked it around, even in your questions for Jesus stuff.
Yeah.
I've added the core competencies that we're doing there, that you hear the unspoken and the spoken, what the client's saying, what they're not saying, and you lead them into the emotional side. I mean, that stuff is there. So yeah, I'm having to make a decision of how. I only have so much time to do that, to give, to receive that extra training. So
yeah,
can I give it there? I'd prefer to give it to you guys. So
yeah, and we'd love to tell you that it'll work. I'd say you could give it a go, but we don't have a well-worn track record that says you can reliably do that. So we don't want to give you that kind of a promise.
Well, again, I got my first credentials.
Yeah.
Just with your guys' stuff, so it may work.
Yeah.
It may work.
Yeah, that's good.
I super appreciate what you guys are doing.
Yeah, thanks for that, Patty. Good. All right, let's go to the we'll go to the next one. And I think where am I at? Yeah, Encounter Coach Community. I'm gonna hand it off to Jason.
Yeah, so this is just a huge part of our heart, right? Like everything we do is about relationship. So we're currently, this is one of those things we're still working on, still putting together. But we would like to provide for you. And of course, this is how we're starting. Like this is a community meeting. We started meeting once a month. We want to provide a private forum where we can grow together, where we can connect, where we can share our experiences, where you can maybe even practice a tool, or we further develop a tool and how it works in a specific context or something like that. There's all kinds of nuance and little things that we may not have time to cover in the modules that we want to be able to offer here in the community section, but we want to provide, an online platform where we can come together, not just for this time, this meeting. Normally we meet the first Wednesday of every month, but we want to have a place where people can go anytime and connect and grow together. So again, that's just coming together. We're talking and praying through that and connecting all the pieces right now. But that's our heart. We want to be able to support you, in your endeavors with encounter coaching and MetaFormation, and that's going to be a place where we can do that and where you all can support each other. It's really hard. So a lot of coaches are kind of out there on their own, right? Like they're creating their own business or ministry or whatever, and it's really hard to go it alone. We don't want that to be the case with MetaFormation. We want to be a team. We want to be a family. We want to run together. So that's what we're trying to develop right now. So stay tuned. Again, we are meeting once a month right now, first Wednesday of the month, but there's going to be more to that coming soon. So,
Yeah, and maybe Matthew's helping us with a Facebook group, which would be a little more geared towards people that are less familiar or unfamiliar with MetaFormation. Maybe if you want to just chat a little bit about that, where you and Angie are working on that.
Yeah, the group is really to start just providing some value for people as they're coming into the community, kind of learning about what we do. And so it won't be all the way toward, hey, let's ask Jesus some questions now together. It might be kind of front end, and then we're making a second group, and that group will be for people who are already in the community, have already gotten some training, have some knowledge, to be able to add value to them and to be able to just improve the community, have a place to connect, share wins, like just a place where I'm like, where are my people at? And so the second group will be for that. But the group we're working on right now is just how do we get people in that don't know that are missing this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so we're doing a little bit of exploring on what would be a good technology platform to use for, but the idea would be to have for those who are in the community who've been through our training that want to connect more deeply with fellow encounter coaches in the community, it would be that private place that you can do that. And so that's kind of where we're at. It's I can't give you any specifics yet because we're still trying to figure it out, but it's something we really, really want to do and think it to be really important. So if you have ideas or thoughts on that too, you can, feed that back to us as well. Let's see, let me go to the next one and then we'll open it up for questions. So the last part, Jason, on
Yeah. So we've developed a pathway for those who are interested in becoming a coach trainer with us. The number one thing to know about this, first of all, is this is by personal invitation only. There's not some kind of application process or something like that. Like it's just by personal invitation. But there are some requirements and qualifications that we have and then a pathway forward. And so I'm going to go over all that. This is a lot of information, kind of a lot of detail. But don't worry about that right now. We're going to have the recording. We're going to give you the slide, some notes, whatever. So just relax and kind of absorb it right now. And then you can go over it in more detail. And of course, you feel free to ask those questions. But so the requirements qualifications piece. You're a certified encounter coach, of course. We want you to have 300 hours of encounter coaching experience and then maintain 100 hours of coaching per year. So that's to keep you fresh, to keep your skills fresh. What we've kind of concluded is that we want to be immersed in this. So like for Todd and Etienne and myself, we're not just training, we're coaching. And so we're just immersed in it all the time. That's what keeps our skills fresh. And, we have the experience of meeting people in different situations and coaching them through different seasons, et cetera. The next one is either you have a well-established encounter coach business or ministry, or you've taken module B build. And that's just, are we able to network and influence and communicate clearly what we do and those kinds of things. That you're a MetaFormation staff coach in good standing. Todd talked about that just before. That you are fully bought into our core values and learning principles, and you demonstrate all of those things, our values, principles, through your coaching, through your presenting, those kinds of things. Skilled and active in promoting the work of encounter coaching and our programs. So a big part of that is the enrollment coach opportunity that Todd mentioned earlier. And what we're looking for there with the enrollment coach is that you're available about 15 to 20 hours per month, and you're supporting us in one other way, right? So as a story writer, you're on the website, the experience encounter coaching, buying the 3 sessions, someone can come on and see, you're on our website and book those sessions with you, that you're possibly a mentor coach, which if you're a mentor coach, you're also going to be a trainer. Those two go hand in hand. Or back office support, social media support, helping us develop content, those kinds of things. We want to know that you have strong coaching and leadership presence. That'll be demonstrated through your ability to do encounter coach demonstrations in front of others, which can be intimidating at first, but you can get used to it after a while. You are able to facilitate a robust discussion by following the learning. You pick up where the learning is and you follow that. Respond effectively to questions from personal coaching experience. Create a positive learning environment. That you're personally resilient, not easily triggered, and self-aware to seek out healing for your own heart when needed. And that you're committed to coach other MetaFormation leaders on a pro bono basis when requested. So all of us, myself, Etienne, Todd, Tony, whatever, we coach each other for free whenever that person needs coaching. I think I've been coached by everybody, so and it's appreciated. Okay, so here's the pathway forward, kind of the steps to this. So you're personally invited to intern with one of our lead trainers, which is myself, Todd, or Etienne, for one of the modules. And so this is unpaid, but this is the steps to progressively challenging roles here as determined by the lead trainer. So you start out, maybe you do a few sessions, and that'll gradually increase. You're required to shadow with each of the mentor coaches, again, Todd, Etienne, or myself currently, covering all the encounter coaching skills, okay, over the course of the training program. At the conclusion of that, the leadership team comes together to determine if there's a good mutual fit for all of us, right? And whether or not to bring you formally into our training program. And if approved, then you come into our coach training program. And you don't have it's a value of $2,500. You don't have to pay that. We're not charging for that. You're going to be assigned a mentor, which is one of our lead trainers. You're going to work through the online training content that we have. You'll again partner with one of us to help with one of the modules, preferably a module that you haven't done yet. And you'll have greater responsibility there. You're going to do more of the sessions. They're, more of what it requires to facilitate a module. And participate in live trainings on key skills, such as doing a coach demo or mentor coach feedback, those kinds of things. Then there will be a graduation. So all that goes well, there's a graduation to an associate trainer. And that's going to be determined again by the leadership team. And then, just a second. Yeah. So, and then there's some details as far as how you'll be paid once you're an associate trainer and all those kinds of things. I won't get into that, but we can give you those details. Now, here's the benefit of being a MetaFormation coach trainer. So all trainers are independent contractors. You're not employees. So you're going to have flexibility to pursue your own coach business while also serving MetaFormation. They're going to be listed on our website, coach, your credentials. Hopefully that helps your business too. I'm sure it will. Ability, you'll be compensated again. So as an enrollment coach, as a trainer, all those things, you'll receive 35% discount from the bookstore, which is great. And then over time, of course, there's the opportunity to just grow with us, becoming a lead trainer, mentor coach, and possibly even becoming a partner with MetaFormation. So again, we will send you all that information, plus you have the recording, or you will have the recording. But any questions on requirements, expectations, benefits, or the pathway to becoming a trainer?
Yeah.
Alina. Oh, sorry, I saw.
I was waving bye to Tony. He said he was leaving. I was waving bye.
Okay.
No, I mean, I'm going to be the first one to sign up. Like, I'll go with that too. But no, yeah, or be invited, not sign up. But anyway, I'm excited. I'm going to stop talking.
Okay. Patty, did you have a question?
Do you guys have like a normal timeline that you think this will take to go through all of that?
30 minutes.
No. I mean,
no, I'm joking. I'm joking.
the whole pathway, you know. Is it a couple of years?
It depends again on someone's capacity and availability.
Okay.
Probably the shortest time would be a year. 2 years is probably more realistic.
Okay.
Do you want to speak to that at all, Todd? You're on mute.
Yeah, one thing I would add to it is, with respect to the coach training, it's probably not something that you'll make a lot of money at. You'll make some money. It'll be fair compensation, but I think the real value is just to grow in your skill and to grow in depth of heart in this work. That's certainly been my experience as a trainer, is just to get really good at this and to just watch Jesus show up over and over and over again every day. So that's to me, that's the real benefit is that. Yeah, it's fun.
It forces you to internalize everything.
Yeah.
Because you're training it all the time. Right? So it gets to the point where it's just right there, top of mind all the time, which is really cool because in every situation in life, I just have immediate access to that stuff because I'm training it constantly.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty amazing.
But our desire is to grow, keep our class sizes small, which means we will, as we grow, we will need more trainers. The value and benefit of doing it online, of course, is it doesn't require travel, and we've been really working hard at getting our content in a really clear and easy to deliver way, so that we can just continue to get better at giving people a really good experience. I saw a couple of questions in the chat. Peter had a question about MetaFormation coaching within the YWAM DTS. Do you want to elaborate on that, Peter? Or?
Sure, and I think it's been answered to a certain degree, but the coaching is so valuable, even to give people how to relate to each other. It would just be if they could catch the vision where a certified coach could go in and teach 3 or 4 days of coaching at DTS, but I think it's already taught in some bases, but it's too bad that it can't be made part of their standard schools all around the world.
Yeah. Can you comment?
Can I ask
go ahead, Alina.
Just because I'm new to the basis, so Peter, just for context, we're civilians, but we're over here in Germany, in working with the military. And so I'm really curious, and this is probably maybe an offline question, maybe we can get, but I didn't know that there was even a coaching program or something like that, and bases and things like that. And if there was, you know, more information I can get, like what is YWAM? Like I've like, there's so many acronyms, but like, what is that? And is that on all the bases? And, you know, is that something else I could be participating in, or is it military only? You know, that kind of thing. So I'd love to get some more information from you on that, because I haven't heard about any kind of coaching things around here, or what kind of support the chapels have and things like that. So that makes me very curious.
Yeah, well, YWAM is Youth with a Mission. So
Okay.
they use the term base, which sounds military, but maybe they
Oh, is
are.
it not military?
Yeah, they're maybe they're the Army of God, I guess. I'm just teasing a little bit. Etienne has had a lot of interaction with them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So not military base. Okay.
No,
My bad. Because I was like, I haven't heard about anything like that on base here. And that, how fantastic would that be? Right? Okay.
But certainly, you know, we see an opportunity, and several of us are really passionate about applying the skills of encounter coaching in a cross-cultural context. And so I do believe that, you know, these skills are really profound because, you know, we have an incredible advantage if you're communicating cross-culturally, cross-language. But if you can speak the language of the heart and invite Jesus to speak to a person's heart, that's an amazing advantage when you don't share a common first language or a common first culture. And as I've applied some of the encounter coaching, even with people that are God seeking but aren't Christian yet, and able to experience God, an encounter with God, I think is pretty amazing. It's pretty fun. And so those are some of the things that we want to grow and develop in.
There was a question in chat earlier. What's the difference between the new flip book and the old flip books? So the Living from the Heart one. And
yeah, for sure. I would say that the key difference is the cheat sheet that we came up with that was introduced really walks you practically through, and it's really for the coach to walk you through step by step the encounter coaching process. And in particular, one of the things I like is sometimes I get stuck on what question to ask around, you know, each desire. And so it's got a quick access. You can get, you know, questions, just 3 or 4 kind of standard questions for each of the desires. And so that's really helpful. The Transforming the Heart and Living from the Heart flip book is a really good tool for describing the coaching process to a client and in sharing it with the client. So the old ones are more client focused for the person receiving the coaching. The cheat sheet is really more for the coach. And so they can work together. Yeah, Kirsty. Oh, you're on mute.
I sent an email about it before, but I tried to order the sheet, and in Norway I have to pay maybe 3 or 4 times the cost just to get it here. So I was wondering, is it possible to get it online, that you can print it out yourself or something and buy it that way? Because the cost of sending things to Norway from the States is really high.
Yeah.
If
we also have
you
to
pay for my
taxes.
airline ticket, if you pay for my airline ticket, I'll bring a whole bunch for
Okay.
free.
Yeah.
I gave you. I sent a few extra to Etienne. I wonder if it's cheaper.
Also thinking too, like I can get stuff mailed as if it's been in the U.S. just because we're on base here, and then if it's cheaper for me to send it from here in Germany to other parts of Europe, I don't know how we see like what the cost of that kind of stuff is, but I'd be willing to participate in that and, you know.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
We can figure out some logistics of that, at least while I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll look at that. In the past, Tony's been reluctant to have PDF copies floating around because they tend to they tend to multiply, and we kind of lose control of it. But we should find a way to do that. I think as we grow, I want to have, in a sense, bookstores in different places so that we can ship more effectively around the world. Yeah, another question?
Yeah. Some of Tony's books has been on Amazon, so then we can order it from Amazon UK, and that will be cheaper. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it's possible to get these small books and other material.
Yeah. The Amazon book or the cheat sheet isn't produced by Amazon, so that's a little more tricky. But yeah, we'll work
Isn't
on it.
there, I was going to say, isn't there a way for, because I know all sorts of network marketing people that sell their stuff on Amazon as like that third party type person. They
Yeah.
sell like essential oils, candles, like Mary Kay stuff, things like that. That might be another avenue too.
Yeah. I think as we grow, I think that's something to look at. Good. Well, we are at the top of the hour. Any other final questions before we let y'all go?
But do you ever see any course modules for dealing with addictions? That's such a large area market.
Great question. This my own personal view is I think our training can help with, I guess I'll call it small a addiction, where it gets to a serious level, maybe then probably requires other interventions. It's a good opportunity for our broader community too, of people that have experience with good things that fit with our values. So I'm looking around if anybody has a good answer to Peter's question. I don't. KO does.
That's who I mostly work with. And yep, I have great resources if you want to reach out to me.
Okay. So tell you what, KO, send me a link for your content and I'll put it in the follow-up notes for everybody.
Okay, email it to you?
Yeah, just email it to me. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Great question. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. We appreciate you all. We love you all.
Thank you.
All the
Hey,
best.
Todd, before you go, did they decide when they're going to start the course, the Revive?
We haven't set a specific time and date yet. We are, if you have input or if you're interested and say, I'd love to see one on, Tuesdays at 4 p.m. or something, give us that feedback.
I think you did that through your survey. I answered the survey.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll take a look at that survey and yeah.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Blessings.
Yeah. Blessings
See
to
you,
all.
Peter.
All right. I can hang around for a few minutes if anybody has questions, but otherwise we'll let you go.
Yeah. Thanks, Todd. Hey, a quick question.
Yeah.
As far as signing up for the build option that sounds like it's going to start in January, first one. When will that be available to start signing up for that?
Yeah, it should be. I was hoping to have it done last week. It's certainly by the end of this week, it'll be up and on the website, or at least I'll email it out to those who've been in our training. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, this was great, by the way. Thanks.
Yeah,
thanks for doing this. It's good.
Yeah.
Hey, Todd, in the encounter book, why did they leave out the guardians, the two guardians?
Yeah, because it's written extensively in the other flip book, and we use the guardians really kind of more of as a training tool for working with clients and describing it. So we didn't want to repeat what was sort of already there.
Okay.
in the other flip book. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Liv Kirsty.
Will it come out on email more information about the lead, the pilot one that starts in January?
Yeah.
So we will get it on our emails if
Yes.
we're in the system. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Good. Other questions? All right. Thanks, everybody. All right. Bye for now.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Gonna hit that.